Add 1 cup of rice and rinse twice. Add 1.5 cups of water, and that's one way. Wash the rice 1 time, add 1.2 parts water to 1 part rice in the pan, that's another way. Add 250 grams of rice, add 500 milliliters of water, that's another way. 125 Gramm Rundkorn Naturreis in 200, that's German, and another way. See, this is the reason why people are afraid to make rice. Contradicting instructions, and none of them seem to scale. Today I want to show you the golden rule to cooking rice. Then, at the end of the video, I want to show you a tool I created to help you scale rice right every time. Hello and welcome back to cooking. The most common question I get asked as a chef is, how do I get rice right every time? It's impossible to always get it right when you're giving the wrong information. See, when you cook rice, some water will be absorbed and some water will evaporate. Now, the golden ratio for cooking rice is really simple. You take 1 cup of washed rice and it will absorb 1 cup of water, and about half a cup of water will evaporate. That's why 1 cup of rice to 1.5 cups of water works, but it doesn't scale well, because tripling the amount of rice does not triple the amount of water evaporated. The main thing that affects how much water is evaporated is cooking time. So as long as cooking time remains the same, the amount of evaporation will remain the same. So if we just triple the recipe, we need 3 cups of rice and 4.5 cups of water. The rice will absorb 3 cups of water and half a cup will evaporate, leaving you with a whole cup of excess water that can overcook the rice and turn it to a mush. This is why the first knuckle rule works. If you've never heard of the first knuckle rule, this is something widely known in Asia. The idea is you just wash the rice and you add it to a rice cooker. You flatten the rice and add water till the water hits the first knuckle. This gives you equal volumes of water and rice, plus some water for evaporation. However, this will not work with every pot, which is why the golden ratio is more reliable. When I first learned this rule working in a Thai restaurant, this made no sense to me, but it worked perfectly, and I honestly thought back then it had something to do with the rice cooker. Well, the good news is you don't need a rice cooker to get it right every time. All you need is to remember the golden rule. 1 cup of rice will absorb 1 cup of water, plus half a cup for evaporation. Then you can tweak that recipe depending on whether you like your rice a little firmer or a little softer. Of course, the last thing to remember is always add salt. Not only does salt add flavor, it also reduces the gelation temperature of the starch, helping it cook faster. This is particularly important if you're cooking with hard water, since calcium inhibits the absorption of water, and salt helps prevent this. So now that you know how the rice cooks, let's put the theory to practice. Measure your ingredients using our recipe card in the description below, or using our rice calculator. Start by washing the rice to remove the surface starch, which can make the rice sticky. Then drain it thoroughly. If you don't like to wash your rice, I recommend frying it in some oil, which helps cook the surface starch. Add the rice, salt, and water to a pot and bring it to a boil, stirring to keep it from sticking. Then turn the heat down, cover with a lid, and set a timer for 12 minutes. Quick side note, in culinary school, we used to have these electric hubs that took forever to heat up and forever to cool back down. The way we dealt with this was to always set one stove to maximum heat and another to the lowest heat so that you can simply slide the pot over once the water comes to a boil. Once the timer goes off, turn off the heat or remove the pot from the stove and let it rest for 5 to 10 minutes, keeping the lid on. To make it even better, I like to use a fork to fluff it up with some butter. Look at how perfect this rice looks. Then top it with some sesame seeds or whatever your heart desires and enjoy the perfect base for any meal. Cooking rice is incredibly easy once you have the right information. Using the golden ratio, you can scale it up or down as much as you'd like, and you will always get the same results. Now, if all of this sounds like way too much math, don't worry, I got you covered. I created a rice calculator, which you can find on our website, back2.cooking. It's completely free and you don't have to sign up or send your email or any of that to use it. This tool will adjust the settings based on the type of rice you're using, your personal preferences, and even whether or not you wash the rice. I spent a lot of time of testing it and modifying it, so I really hope it helps you. If you find it useful, please let me know in the comments below so I can justify the amounts of time I spent creating it. Rice is my absolute favorite base for bowls, so if you haven't checked out our bowls video, you can click here. Also, this is part of my 3-part rice series because all good trilogies come in 3s. Part 2, Pimp My Rice, is coming up in 2 weeks, so make sure you hit subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you on the next one.